Donald Trump is suing judges now. He's just filed a new lawsuit I'm going to talk about on this hot take here on Legal AF, in which he sued each and every judge of the Maryland Federal District Court. I mean every judge, from the chief judge down to Judge Xinis and the clerk of the court, claiming that an administrative order that the chief judge put in place to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't, as he's done hundreds of times, take people away from federal jurisdiction and dump them in foreign countries, effectively kidnap them and send them away without due process, that doesn't happen, at least for 48 hours. The administrative order says, and I paraphrase, that the Trump administration, on a filing of a petition for writ of habeas corpus, to put this person in front of a federal judge, is stopped, stayed, and enjoined for 48 hours until a federal judge is assigned and can make a determination. Well, they don't like that. Trump administration says that interferes with our ability to do foreign diplomacy. That interferes with our ability to move migrants around when we don't have beds for them. That's a violation. And he has sued every judge in Maryland. Who decides a case like that? If you sue every judge, don't they all have a conflict? Yes. Is there a way for a new judge to be appointed? Yes. What's the process? I'm going to tell you right here on Legal AF. Let's start with process. What happens when Donald Trump has now decided to ratchet up his attack on the rule of law and on judges particularly, and decides to sue them because he doesn't like administrative orders? First of all, the administrative order doesn't do what he says it does. The administrative order only says that for 48 hours, that the person will not be shipped out of the continental United States until a federal judge in Maryland, if that's where the petition is filed, where there has to be a nexus, a connection between Maryland and this person and their status, that for 48 hours until a federal judge is assigned, because once you file a petition, it has to go through a rotating wheel assigned by the clerk to a judge. Judge has to get a hold of the papers, look at the papers, and make a preliminary decision. So to buy them more time and to avoid what has been happening that every federal judge has seen, which is Donald Trump shipping people away from federal jurisdiction in order to argue, see, you have no power over them. You have no jurisdiction over them. I dumped them in El Salvador. To avoid that for at least 48 hours, this order holds the ring, as we say. It's an administrative stay at best. But they're arguing, no, it violates the All Writs Act. It violates the injunction requirements that are listed in a Supreme Court precedent. And all of them should be enjoined. It's almost by way of a mandamus. They should be forced to remove the administrative order and handle injunctions on a case-by-case basis. Now, that gets us to procedure. What happens next? Well, when you sue every judge, and it's happened before, there's actually a statute. There's actually a law on the books that says what happens. It's the Out of District Judge Assignment Act. And what it says is if all the judges, so there's no one judge that's left standing and have now been sued, then the chief judge of the appeals court that federal district court is assigned to, so the Maryland Federal District Court is assigned to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals chief judge, which as of right now is Judge Diaz, an Obama appointee, he then chooses from other federal trial court judges outside of Maryland that are in the Fourth Circuit, so North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. He picks a judge, and if you can't find one in there, a senior status judge at some other district to handle this case. So what is it from an advantage standpoint? Donald Trump at least gets a judge. He's losing in Maryland regularly. You know, it's a liberal, moderate venue. He wants a different venue. This is all about changing venue and forum shopping. So he thinks he's got a better shot in North Carolina, the very red South Carolina, the very red Virginia, the very red West Virginia, North Carolina sort of purpley than what he's getting in Maryland. And so this will now be assigned to a judge in that area because that statute says that's what happens. So there'll be new filings there. There'll be new arguments there. Now, the actual complaint I've read cover to cover. I'm going to post it on the Legal AF Substack. I think it's a loser. Okay, a chief judge has the power, administrative power, to enter administrative orders to facilitate the administration of justice And this one makes a lot of sense because we've seen in dozens of cases, including up to the United States Supreme Court, including in Maryland, what Donald Trump will do if left unchecked. He will just send people, kidnap them in the middle of the night without due process, dump them off in third-party countries, and then claim the federal courts don't have jurisdiction over them. We just watched this. We're watching it right now. As I'm speaking, Judge Xinis in Maryland, same court, now been sued, is considering a contempt proceeding against the Trump administration related to Kilmer Abrego, right? Kilmer Abrego, the guy that was sent over a order of a immigration judge to El Salvador in the middle of the night without due process, ordered back 9-0 by the U.S. Supreme Court, ordered back by Judge Xinis on regular orders, and was finally returned 2 months ago to the United States, but in Tennessee, to answer for an indictment about human smuggling that happened 3 years ago during a traffic stop. Xinis is very close, as I've been reporting, to ordering a contempt proceeding. Now the Trump administration has sued Judge Xinis, effectively, arguing that none of the judges can abide by this particular administrative order. Now, while they're not suing her related to Abrego Garcia or the Kilmer Abrego case, they are effectively. This is them saying, as we now know from a new whistleblower report, we just had Erez Ruveni, who was the ultimate insider in immigration litigation for the Department of Justice, in a 27-page letter that he sent to the Senate confirmation hearing, Senate Confirmation Committee, or Senate Judiciary Committee, that's confirming a guy in the Trump administration that used to be his criminal defense lawyer and is the number 3 person in the Department of Justice, Emil Bove. Emil Bove told the Department of Justice to go tell judges to go F off, literally, in a meeting on March 14th. That includes Judge Xinis, go F off, including Judge Boasberg in the D.C. Circuit Court, go F off, and he instructed his lawyers not to comply with federal orders and not to tell federal judges what was happening with the deportation program. That is now public record. I did a separate hot take on that letter here on Legal AF. So this is now against that background, that context. I'll continue to follow it. The next step's Judge Diaz assigning a new judge. And then these judges are going to have to get a lawyer and a law firm. I can think of a half a dozen that are going to stand up and defend these judges in front of the new federal judge, including many that successfully sued Donald Trump and got injunctions against him attacking law firms. Look for Jenner and Block, look for Wilbur Hale, look for Sussman Godfrey, look for Perkins Coie. I can name another dozen behind them that are willing to stand up to this administration the way we are here on Legal AF. So take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. Come over to Legal AF Substack, where I have now posted this lawsuit so that you can read it for yourself. And come here for regular updates. Once you subscribe, hit the reminder button and you'll get notifications every time we have a new video, which is about every hour at the intersection of law and politics. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.